So this is the savage mountain called K2. And in 1954, a crew of Italians decided that they were going to be the first to climb it. Now K2 sits at a whopping 8,611 meters high, only second to Everest. While Everest may be the tallest, K2 is called the Savage Mountain for a reason. It's a dangerous place. It is difficult to navigate, where climbers' bravery, strength, and skill are constantly put to the test. Their journey, however, would be filled with both triumph and betrayal, leading to the story that still echoes through the mountain today. Our story starts with the world-renowned explorer Ardito Deseo, this guy. Well, he gathered a team of the most experienced climbers in Italy and organized the largest, most expensive climb to date to ascend K2. So out of the team, he chose 10 Italian men and there was 11 Pakistani Sherpas. All were strong, all were determined, and all were ready for anything. Amongst them was Lino Lasadelli and Achilles Campanomi, two climbers as tough as the mountain itself. They were joined by Walter Boniti, a young climber with incredible skill and determination, a Pakistani colonel, and a porter from Hunza, Pakistan, named Amir Mahid. Now the climb was long and difficult. The team faced freezing cold winds, steeply icy slopes, and the ever-presenting life-threatening avalanches. Still, they pressed on with Deseo's line of ascent, setting up camps along the way where they could rest and prepare for the next part of the journey. As they got higher and higher, the air got thinner and thinner, making it harder to breathe the oxygen. But listen, nothing could stop them. They were a group of very determined men, and they were going to make it to the top. As the climbers pressed on, it became clear that Lino and Achilles were the most durable for the ascent to the top of K2. But to succeed, they needed more oxygen. And this is where the plot thickens. They asked Walter and Amir to go down and grab more oxygen for the final ascent, with promise that they would also go to the top of K2. So the men agreed, and they went down to the other camp to grab the oxygen. But here's where the story takes a twist. Lino and Achilles climb up further and set up camp further up the mountain, not telling Walter or Amir. And this means when Walter or Amir returned with the oxygen, they found no camp, no shelter, and the sun was setting. Now Walter and Amir were in quite a pickle. The temperature was dropping fast, they had no shelter, they only have oxygen, and they were going to be in for a long, terrible night. So they huddled together to keep warm, and they counted the hours before morning. Now the night was terrible. It was freezing cold with the wind howling around them. But despite the cold, despite the freezing, both Walter and Amir made it till the morning. So now it's morning. Walter and Amir leave the oxygen at the place where camp was supposed to be set, and they start heading down the mountain. They managed to get down to the next camp safely, but the damage was done. Amir, who descended down earlier before Walter, was severely frostbitten and needed all his fingers and toes amputated, and he would suffer from this ordeal for the rest of his life. But Walter was angry, and he felt betrayed because Lino and Achilles moved up higher to build the camp and literally almost killed Walter and Amir. Through his eyes, he risked everything to go down to the next camp, grab the oxygen, and bring it up, only to be left out in the darkness, out in the cold, basically to perish and die. Meanwhile, Lino and Achilles goes down to where the camp was supposed to be. They grab the oxygen and make their way for the final ascent of K2. Now, Lino and Achilles abandoned the rucksack, only taking snacks for a bit of energy. Despite needing to find unplaced routes around the mixed ice and rocks, they knew they were getting closer. Finally, on July 31st, 1954, Lino and Achilles became the first people ever to reach the top of K2, the first humans to ever conquer the Savage Mountain. And though they could not stay too long, it was a moment of triumph and a moment of history. But as the two celebrate down below, the rest of the team was divided. Walter was both physically and emotionally hurt, and Amir was in agony from frostbite. The victory for them was bittersweet, clouded by feelings of betrayal and the price that had been paid. When the team returned home, Lino and Achilles were hailed as heroes. They had achieved what no one else had done before, but the story of their climb was not so simple. Walter, who had been left in the cold, told his side of the story, and soon rumors erupted about the betrayal on the mountain. The scandal was serious enough that it demanded inquiries by the Italian ambassador for Pakistan. But Lino and Achilles maintained that they did not intentionally set up Camp 9 higher than was planned. Furthermore, Ardita would publicly denounce Walter's actions that day, no less than sabotage, in order to reach the summit. While the reports absolved anyone of any wrongdoing, the public perception of the expedition had angry people on both sides. And so the story of K2's first ascent in 1954 shows the world that even great victories can have a dark side to them.